Hello, everyone. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to join our fireside about lightning. And we are very glad, we are honest to have Federico and Alex to join us. Yeah. Actually, before the fireside, we actually have a very hot discussion about the lightning, about AI, about many things just at this stage. So, at the beginning, please briefly introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Federico. I work for Bitfinex. In Bitfinex, we have a research and development team working in particular on Bitcoin and Lightning Network use cases. And actually, one of our main focus is also the RGB protocol for tokenization on top of Lightning. And we really believe into this technology, and we are looking forward to see it grow in the coming years.
Hi, I'm Alex Bosworth. I work at Lightning Labs. I'm the head of Lightning Liquidity there. I've worked at Lightning Labs for 6 years, a long time, and I work on the products and services that we offer to kind of build and grow the Lightning Network. One of the big one is called Lightning Loop.
Yeah, thank you, Federico. Thank you, Alex, to join us. And my name is Hongzhou. I come from CKB, and we also focus on the Lightning part. For our CKB, we have our own Lightning implementation named Fiber Network. Yeah. Okay, let's begin our today's fireside. At the beginning, I have two kick-off questions to ask you separately. And the first, let me ask Alex. Yeah. As we all know that the liquidity management is a vital challenge for the Lightning. So could you share how Lightning Labs solve this challenge through some innovation or through some new functionalities?
Yeah, so we offer the open source free service or free application called the LND, and that's an implementation of the open protocol, the Lightning protocol. But then we also have services that we offer to help people manage their nodes and get liquidity. And probably the biggest problem in the Lightning Network from a liquidity management point of view is that because liquidity can be assigned by you, meaning you can point your money out at the network, but you can't force other people to point their money towards you in the network, you need to have some way to incentivize them to point capital in your direction. That's a liquidity problem. And so that's the product that I work on called Lightning Loop. That's kind of like the solution that we offer is an API to allow you to create that incentive. And it's a non-custodial service. So you can use the client, and it's an open source MIT licensed client. But on the back end, we operate as a way to say, I want to have an API to get money pointed in my direction so that I can receive on the network in an ad hoc way. And that's kind of like the big service that we offer that we've been iterating on all over these years to kind of like solve that problem.
Yeah, it's very exciting to hear that there have some new innovations to help users to manage their Lightning funding more effectively, right? So the next question is to Federico. As the R&D in Bitfinex, I know you are focused on the Bitcoin derivatives and DEX development. So could you share your idea about the DEX based on Lightning? Especially, we know there have some Bitcoin native protocols such as temporal access, RGB, RGB++. How these protocols help this DEX development?
Yeah, sure. Right now the state of the art of DEXs is that they usually run on EVM chains, and there are two models. Either you have order book based DEXs where all the orders are placed on chain, and then the smart contract match the orders, or you have this more popular AMM, automated market makers DEXs, where there is this algorithm, this formula that try to price the different assets that needs to be swapped. And the problem with this system is that everything happens on chain, so there are many inefficiencies. Like you have latency of waiting for the blocks to come, even with like very fast chains, you have some latency, you need to pay on-chain fees, and probably the worst part of all is that everything is public, so all your trade that you're about to do can be seen by anyone, and then there can be like people that front run you. You can have like miners that manipulate the order of the transaction in the block to extract the value from your trade. So there are a lot of problems with DEX. People like DEXs because you don't need to do KYC and you don't need to onboard to a centralized service, but they're doing a trade-off. So with Lightning, we can actually solve these trade-offs. Because with Lightning, we can have instant settlement. So once we have multiple assets on Lightning, right now we have only Bitcoin, but like once we have also USDT on Lightning or other assets that people like to trade on Lightning Network, you can have these atomic swaps on Lightning. So with the speed of a Lightning transaction that doesn't need to wait for block confirmation, that it can be like almost instantaneous if you have a good connection to your counterparty. You can have not only a payment, but you can start having a swap between Bitcoin and USDT or whichever pair you are interested in. And this has the advantage not only of speed, but also of cost, because it happens on Lightning Network, so you don't need to pay on-chain fees. So that's quite good if you want to trade small sizes, especially. Then you have the security of Bitcoin. You don't need to rely on another chain that is doing some security trade-off, some trust trade-off to enable like low transaction fee and fast block time. I mean, you have the full security of Bitcoin, so it's as safe as it can be. And then the best part, in my opinion, is that everything is private. So a Lightning payments, nobody in the world knows about that you're doing a Lightning payment if not you and your counterparty. So it's going to be the same, if not even better with the trade, because only you and your counterparty knows that this trade is happening. So nobody can use this information to front run you. Nobody can try to manipulate the order of transaction in a block to extract value from your trade. So this will eventually make the trading experience not only better and faster, but also cheaper. Cheaper than people are used with AMM on EVM chain and stuff like that. So I really think this can be a catalyst for Lightning adoption. Because right now Lightning, I mean, it's cool, but people are, the main problem with Lightning, I think, is people are not so interested with Bitcoin payments in general, overall. But people, like, they will be more interested in USDT in general stablecoin payments. That's already something that has more traction than Bitcoin payments. But even more, people like trading. People like to be able to trade and to be able to do it in a decentralized manner without registering to a centralized service. So I think Lightning will be able, with like DEXs on Lightning, it will be possible to have a superior and cheaper experience compared to what we currently have with DEXs on EVM chain.
Yes, I totally agree that based on Lightning to do some applications is very helpful for the Lightning's massive adoption. And I know that for Bitfinex, you have some attempts that based on Lightning to do DEX. Maybe on tomorrow's stage 2, the Bitcoin stage, you can share more details.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay, after the kickoff questions, I have some cross questions and looking forward to all your insights. The first question is also about the massive adoption. I think that in the past year, we see significant growth of Lightning Network, particularly in some countries or areas that embrace the Bitcoin, like El Salvador. So how do you think about the Lightning usage in these areas compared to Bitcoin mainnet, compared to other blockchain like Tron, like Solana, their transactions, and what's the factors are driving this growth? Looking for your idea.
Yeah, I think we had a very interesting experiment in El Salvador, which maybe is rolled back a little bit recently due to external pressure, but it went on way longer than I ever expected it to work. And I think that it's a great proof point that the network didn't fall over. Everything really continued to work, and that's kind of one of the core concepts of scaling with the Lightning Network is that the activity that happens with the Lightning Network, it's just you and your peer, or just you and a small set of peers. So the activity can scale to a country set of people, and there's no blockchain to kind of congest with that activity, in theory, if there's a lot of transactions going on. I think in practice, the weaker points were not necessarily like the Lightning Network itself. It was more of like getting people to accept Bitcoin as a currency. That's that's taking time to mature. Like, Bitcoin is huge, but it's not huge in terms of dollar huge. It's it's still a kind of a niche product in terms of the currency world. And there's also the issue of like when a government kind of mandates something, you get people who are lined up and they're the ones providing things, but they're not necessarily the best. So we kind of need to have a grassroots kind of adoption story of people building the best solutions rather than the government saying, okay, these guys are the ones who are providing it, and then how do they select those people? Maybe that's just their friends or something like that. So I think that's kind of still unfolding. The people who are building are trying to figure out how can we actually bring people into something, because they're not used to it. They're just like dumped into this world of Bitcoin that they never really heard about. And that's one thing that we also are working on with the Taproot Assets project, to try to bring dollars to these people. Especially in the olden days, El Salvador kind of mandated that you would have a wallet that had both dollars and Bitcoins. And we didn't really, in the Lightning Network, have an answer to that at all. And so we saw a lot of our users have to kind of come up with their own dollar solutions. So they came up with these kind of stablecoin channels, or they came up with separate like dollar holdings. And they went to other networks actually. They left the Bitcoin network. They went to Tron or other networks to fulfill this government requirement that they have these dollar wallets. And so that's something that I think that we can kind of improve on also, is start people on dollars that they're familiar with. And these are not like the random person on the street. It's not a Bitcoin enthusiast. They just want to buy things. And so if we can provide that on-ramp using dollars and use dollars with the Bitcoin Lightning Network, with Bitcoin in the Lightning Network, that's I think a path to have a success in that story.
Yeah, I think it's like two parts. On one side, to have new use cases that people care about, like to be able to transact dollars and to be able to do trading, as we were saying before. That will help to get more adoption for sure. But then there is also like another side of the story that we need to consider. A lot of these other chains like Solana, Tron, and all the others, in a way they have capital to heavily incentivize adoption. So like they can pay companies to integrate their chain, and they can pay users through staking incentives to put money on their chain. And this is why one of the reasons why they are so successful. But yeah, on the other side, this incentive they cannot run forever. Eventually, incentives are great to kickstart a network, but then you need to have organic growth, and then this change tends to come and go. There is always like a period where one layer 2 is more popular, then it fades away, another one comes, and it's not really good if you want to build something long term. So I think people that are building on Lightning are building long term. So I think the growth of Lightning Network is going to be slower. It's never going to be as fast as like a new chain coming to the market and suddenly everyone is using that chain. It's always going to be slow and gradual, but it will continue for a very long time because it's organic. Because and people that use Lightning, they build for the long term, not just to have a quick gain or anything like that. And then the fact that you have a technology where you can build on, and you don't need to switch over like in 2 years because all the users are moving to another chain, but you can rely on, eventually is going to be something that also company and user will appreciate and will say, okay, why I need to keep switching every few years when I can just build on Lightning, and as a user I can just trade on pay on Lightning or trade on Lightning. It's overall a better experience. So it's going to take some time. It's going to be gradual. But yeah, eventually also all of these chains, often they have a huge problem with centralization trade-offs, and they may be okay for some use cases, but eventually this may become an issue in the future when either the regulatory environment change or there is more incentive to attack those chains by other kind of actors. So yeah, I think Lightning is superior in many ways for the security-wise and the scalability size. But yeah, it doesn't have this big budget behind to pay users and pay company to adopt it very fast. So this is why it's not growing as fast as you used to with other ecosystems.
Yeah, thank you. I totally agree that for the massive adoption, it's very complex to engineering. Yeah. So let's turn to another very vital part, the stablecoin on Lightning. Yeah. We all know that at the January of this year, Tether announced that to introduce the USDT on Lightning and Bitcoin again through temporary assets. And we all know that this is not the first time for Tether to introduce stablecoin to Bitcoin ecosystem. And we also see today there have many other approaches for the Bitcoin stablecoin, such as RGB, RGB++, etc. So I have a bunch of questions for this part. The first one, how do you think about this time's USDT? What's the difference comparing with the previous omni-layers USDT? And why Tether chose temporary assets to do these things? Because, I think maybe this question is a little offensive because previously the market has the news that Tether will based on RGB to do these things. But I'm sure our audience are very interested about this part. So thanks for your sharing.
Yeah, maybe I can start the goal of Tether is to have USDT on Lightning. I mean, Tether is always very public in the support to the Lightning ecosystem. So there has been both announcement for support for taproot asset and for RGB in the past, and eventually any technology that works to support tokenization on Lightning, I mean, is good. So. So the point is that having compared to previous experiment like OmniLayer was a very old protocol. I mean, for those of you who don't know, OmniLayer was this first protocol for tokenization on top of Bitcoin from back in 2013, 2014, I believe, and it worked at the time, but it wasn't engineered with all the complexity that emerged on Bitcoin over time, because back in the days there were no problem with scalability because no one was using Bitcoin. The blocks were always empty, and there were not many issues with privacy because everybody thought that the blockchain is completely anonymous. So it was engineered without thinking about concerns that then emerged later on in the industry. And also then when OmniLayer tried to integrate Lightning, it didn't work so well because the OmniLayer on the blockchain part, it was not well thought also to be compatible with Lightning that didn't even exist at the time. So that's the need for protocols like RGB and taproot asset came, was like, okay, let's re-engineer how we do tokens on Bitcoin so that it's gonna be efficient use of the blockchain, is gonna address privacy concern, and is gonna be well compatible with Lightning. And now we finally have them, and so we finally can go back to have USDT on Bitcoin, because actually USDT started on Bitcoin and then it went to Ethereum and all the other chains later on. Now finally we have that, and it's only a matter about building the tools so people can use it and have a good experience.
Yeah, and the other thing is the reason why we want to have it on the Bitcoin network, and it's because we this time around we've designed it to work with a Lightning network, and what we've seen with the competition, when all these other people are leaving Bitcoin and integrating these other chains, they're forced to do that because the Bitcoin didn't really have a dollar solution for them, and but then they go there and they realize, oh, that's getting popular. And what happens when it gets popular? It gets expensive, and it gets complicated. So now you either have to go to some other chain. You have to start switching chains again because this one is congested. We have to go somewhere else. It's not that hard with dollars, because $1 on one chain is $1 on another chain. But it's an entirely new set of software you need to integrate. It's a constant process that's only getting worse and worse, because the fundamental problem with these blockchain solutions is just in their nature that they publish everything to the entire world. Whereas with the Lightning Network, the idea is that we're kind of creating something where it can scale and scale and scale, and there's no real problem with it getting bigger and bigger and bigger, especially for small value payments. That's kind of the focus of the Lightning Network. And I think that's where the design of Taproot assets has kind of like differed from past solutions. I mean, there's all sorts of color coins that's been for years and years and years, but we're really focused on this small value dollar solution.
Yeah, the time flies so quickly. So for our fireside, the last question, I want to know that just as before we go on the stage, we talk about the combining the Lightning, stablecoin, and the AI. Yeah, so I want to know whether they have some plan of your organization or companies have some plan for the Lightning, AI, and stablecoin payment.
Well, very quickly, I think Lightning Network and stablecoin on Lightning, they work very well for machine-to-machine payments because, I mean, the AI can directly interact with some digital native currency. So, yeah, I think we will see more and more integration between AI tools and Lightning payments, both to pay maybe the AI provider or also to have the AI paying for services that he may use to complete his task.
Yeah, the AI, it's expensive to run. And I think actually AI could almost be attributed to the rise of crypto because there's so much was invested into the GPUs and the CPU, into this infrastructure that then, I mean, NVIDIA was building huge racks of these GPUs for crypto mining that then got switched in, that all that infrastructure got switched into AI, and now they're they became the biggest company in the world. So, I think that could also circle back and to say, well, we might have to start paying for that. In the same way that we pay for mining, we might have to start paying for this AI processing. And Lightning and Bitcoin are pretty good ways to do that if you want to just be able to pay for compute anywhere in the world and on very small scales.
Yeah. Thanks for all your sharing, and I always believe that Bitcoin, Lightning, stablecoin, and the AI will be the promising things. Since today the time is so short, and we will have another Lightning panel on tomorrow's stage 2, the Bitcoin stage. So for our audience, if you are interested about this part, please join us tomorrow. Thank you again. Thanks for Alex and Federico to join us. Thank you.